Hello everyone, this is Fantasy Ask and welcome back to Vampire Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we entered Leaf Bear and experienced the cold winds of a new war. Today we are continuing on that front with, I think, some difficulties regarding the negotiations that apparently the vampire hunters are trying to have with us, especially as I think they have become probably a little bit nervous hearing that one of their fellow vampire hunter apprentices from, not the clan we're warring with, but an allying clan, they have changed sides. They've turned coat and they have instead joined Initiate clan as one of the many cats who are hoping to be recognized by the vampires and brought into the ruins. So I think the vampire hunters are feeling a little bit threatened and maybe trying to reach out to the vampires to come to some sort of understanding. Okay, so we, have hostilities, with all three clans. Okay, Day Clan, we had a neutrality with, but in the last episode, one of their apprentices joined us. So of course they're not feeling too good. We are now at Moon 46. Let us go to events and see how things are going. Vampire Clan and Wind Clan tried to have a calm negotiation about the conflict at the last gathering, but it led nowhere except to a waste of time. So they were invited by the vampire hunters. Shivering Star was no doubt firm on his position, and nothing ended up happening from that. Twilight Fade will always feel his grief, but time has softened it at least a little. Okay, so Twilight Fade has bounced back from this, maybe because he feels the need to be there for his clan and for his daughters, which is good for us because he is also the Whisper, and this is going to affect the relationship between Owlfeather and Pinespeck, which we want to get a bit of a move on. But unfortunately, his daughter, Bloompaw, is still struggling with the loss of her mother and I think refusing to talk about it to anyone. So we'll see how that goes with her. But yeah, Twilight Fade is back in business, guys. And Blue Jay, Quiet Flight, Bloompaw, so, the ladies, they're still mourning Light Song's loss. Let's check up on the Medicine Cat 10. Twilight Fade has recovered from his grief. Hazel Pelt could not find any herbs this moon. Okay, let's take a look at relationships. Blue Jay and Wolfpaw always have something to share with each other. Wolfpaw gets a bug off of Blue Jay's pelt and takes it out of camp. It's kind of nice to see Wolfpaw and Blue Jay bonding a little bit because I think in the last episode, maybe Wolfpaw is grateful towards Blue Jay's care and attentiveness. In the last episode, we saw Bloompaw lashing out at Blue Jay when Blue Jay was trying to check up on her, but I think her older sister is maybe feeling a little bit more rational. Master Burnleaf wants to be closer to Quiet Flight. Master Burnleaf and Sunnytail, his son, talk about a clanmate and realize they have very different opinions on them. Twilight Fade and Grandmaster Shivering Star are arguing about who should take the blame for something trivial. Maybe the failed negotiations? I could kind of see that being a thing. Twilight Fade tells Fornest to count on him in a difficult situation. That is actually very, very, I think, sweet of Twilight Fade. When they return from a patrol, Grandmaster Shivering Star and Blue Jay seem more at peace with each other than usual. Grandmaster Shivering Star notices one of his friends talking to Blue Jay. Quiet Flight notices that Fornest is fixing a damaged part of the camp without being asked. Okay, so she's having a good opinion on her son. Quiet Flight is asking Fornest interesting questions. Okay, some more mother-son bonding. Hazel Pelt eats with Master Burnleaf all the time. Hazel Pelt is able to work together with Sunnytail. Owlfeather spends the day helping around camp with Wolfpaw. Okay, so Owlfeather and her fledgling are spending time together, and it seems as though they're getting along quite well. Sunnytail and Twilight Fade are chatting about what they're doing today. Pinespeck is having a wonderful time discussing recent clan news with Twilight Fade. Pinespeck got a bunch of cats off for morning stretches, they didn't like it. Iris Freckle feels betrayed by something Owlfeather said. Okay. Fornest backs up one of Master Burnleaf's claims during one of Burnleaf's arguments. Wolfpaw saw Sunnytail being considerate. Bloompaw doesn't shy away from Fawnest's presence. And that is all we have for the events. So let me wrap up here and continue with the cat list. Let's continue with the cat list, starting off with loyalties. We have had some changes. So now among Shivering Star's anti-loyalists, we have Fawnest and Wolfpaw. And I think these two cats are displeased with Shivering Star for different reasons. Fawnest, who is a skilled mediator, is, I think, disappointed at Shivering Star failing the negotiations with the vampire hunters. I mean, Fawnest was on board along with, Pinespeck and Iris Freckle, his siblings, to go to war with the vampire hunters, but at the same time, I think he understands the value of not fighting, the value of maybe staying out of each other's way and preserving the lives of the vampires involved. I mean, yes, he'll put down his life to fight in a war if he has to, but at the same time, he knows that a war could cost the lives of his parents, of his siblings, and he doesn't necessarily want that. He doesn't feel like in the long term that's going to be beneficial for the vampires as a whole. So that's his reasoning for kind of becoming an anti-loyalist. Now, Wolfpaw, who was very fired up to get revenge on the vampire hunters for killing her mother, I think Wolfpaw is upset that Shivering Star went to the negotiations in the first place. I don't think she feels as though there is any space for the vampires to make concessions with the vampire hunters, and I don't think she feels as though the vampires should even try to make peace with the vampire hunters, at least not right now, not while she sees her sister grieving. She feels like that's going to be like another slap in the face to Bloom. So that's what's going on with these guys. There was nothing that stood out to me in terms of the relationships and the changes between the cats. And this time around, we can actually dive to Twilight Fade to have a whispering session between Alp, Feather, and Pinespeck, who I think have been more taken up with their duties as mentors than with each other. So their, relationship has, I think, stalled just a little bit because Twilight Fade obviously was grieving. They didn't have any whispering sessions. So I wonder how things are going to go now that they've had a couple of moons of, no progress with each other. Okay, so comfort, romance, platonic like, respect and trust has increased, jealousy and dislike have decreased, which is very nice to see. So I think both of them probably were welcoming this whispering session quite a lot. I imagine that maybe they were stealing glances at each other kind of across the clearing, across camp, while they're busy working with their fledglings and, organizing patrols, going out, keeping a lookout for the vampire hunters, making sure that the camp is fortified for the war, making sure that the prairie pile is doing fine now that they're in Leaf Bear. And I think they're probably very much looking forward to finally being able to, return to the familiarity of each other, which I kind of love. So they definitely have chemistry between them. That makes me very, very happy. And now they can kind of re-energize to go back to whatever else they were doing. Let's go ahead now and see what everyone's doing for the day. Grandmaster Shivering Star taunted a dog stuck behind a 2-leg fence. Guys, Shivering Star is 190 moons old. How long is this cat, this vampire? How long is this vampire going to last? I have honestly no clue. Master Burnleaf had a nice chat with a kitty pet. I actually cannot wait. This is so mean, but I cannot wait for Shivering Star to just die and go so that I can put into place my new loyalty system, which I think is going to be a lot less tedious than what I have now. But I'm also thinking, guys, that when I return to Season 2 of Royal Clan, I'm not going to wait for the leader's death. I'm just going to implement the new loyalty system from the beginning of Season 2. Just to make things easier for myself. But I feel like either when we have a new leader or at the beginning of a season is a lot cleaner than randomly just doing it. So yeah, that's I'm looking forward to those things. Hazelpelt is careful not to stand under branches with snow on them. Twilight Fade solves problems by starting them. Okay, Twilight Fade. Blue Jay is grateful to Hazel Pelt for her treatment. Quiet Flight is comforting Iris Freckle after a hard day. Oh, even though Quiet Flight herself is not feeling too well. Sunnytail wishes he could take the day off. Owlfeather is busy sharpening her claws to look stronger. Pinespeck knows Master Burnleaf would make a great leader. Look at that, guys. Apparently Pinespeck has the same thoughts as me, and he is probably, even though he's currently loyal to Shivering Star, he's kind of looking at Burnleaf and thinking that after Shivering Star, Burnleaf would actually be a really good Grandmaster for the clan. Wow, okay. Fornest saw a big scary dog today. Iris Freckle is careful not to stand under branches with snow on them. You are hanging out with who? You are hanging out with Hazel Pelt. Okay, Iris Freckle is hanging out with her father once more, which makes me so happy. That's so cute. In the last episode, she was taking, I think, berries to her father for him to identify. So I kind of like that, you know, there are certain tendencies she has back from when she was a kitten, before she and her father started having disagreements. And it comes out even as an adult now. She can't help at certain times, like going to her father. Wolfpaw refused to follow her mentor's recent orders due to her own morals. Oh. I wonder if maybe out during a patrol or something, Owlfeather, who's insecure, maybe advised Wolfpaw to kind of back away and leave it alone. Maybe something suspicious happened and she told Wolfpaw to kind of leave it alone. But Wolfpaw, who feels very strongly about defending, you know, the clan, she kind of refused to leave it alone and she wanted to go poke and prod. Thankfully, it ended up being nothing, but she wasn't willing to be a coward. Okay. Bloompaw is craving the taste of rabbit, and that's all we have for these cats. Let's quickly check up on our rankings. Okay, Wolfpaw is ahead with 24 experience, and Bloompaw has managed to get 11, but she's quite far behind her sister. So right now it seems as though Wolfpaw is gonna be probably best of her batch. I don't know how Bloompaw is going to be able to catch up at this point. I really don't. But okay, let's wrap things up here and catch up in patrols. Okay, we currently have 183.2 prey and we need 34, so we don't have to worry about food. We'll send out our Nightstalker, Hazel Pelt, to see what he can find. Hazel Pelt pads along, mouth open slightly as he scents for any traces of herbs. Oh. He can smell some raspberries nearby, but it seems that they're just over the border. Proceed. Hazelpelt starts to step over the border, but a hiss stops him in his tracks. A Day Clan patrol is running his way. As the patrol approaches, he blurts out that he's a Nightstalker. The warriors either don't hear him or don't care. They take multiple swipes at him before he can get away. Hazelpelt has a mangled tail and relations with Day Clan have worsened. Guys, that's not good. Our Nightstalker just got injured, and I'm pretty sure cats can die from a mangled tail. Like, they can die from this. This is a severe injury. Hazelpelt! Oh, no, no, no. This was exactly why Fornest, even though he can be quite childish, didn't see the wisdom in the vampires failing at the negotiations, because he was worried his family members would kind of get hurt the longer this war went on. And look what happened. His father got caught out in one of the patrols. Okay. We're gonna have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 2. Let's see how they split this time. Okay, Owlfeather, once more, is going to be accompanying Wolfpaw. We also have Fornest, Sunnytail, Master Burnleaf, and Grandmaster Shivering Star. So let's see how this goes on. As the patrol gathers together to train under Grandmaster Shivering Star's leadership, Master Burnleaf admits he thinks he had a vision from Star Clan last night. Proceed. The patrol talks to him about whether it was a real vision as they train. And we are sending out Iris Freckle and Pinespeck. So let's see what these guys get up to. The siblings, oh wait, the siblings? Oh yeah, that's right, the siblings. Oh, I completely forgot about that. But this is so interesting. The siblings head out to one of the further hunting grounds, where Evergreen Forest has hopefully protected some ground from the latest snowfall. No one is keen to try and hunt while haunch deep in the fluffy white stuff. That's actually really cute. I don't think I've ever gotten this prompt before with siblings, but that's kind of nice. We have some bonding time between brother and sister. And we know that growing up, actually, Pine Speck was quite, I think he was nice. He was very nice to Ibis Freckle, and Ibis Freckle looked up to Pine Speck a lot and still does. Proceed. Together, they collect a couple chipmunks and an old collared pika. It should be a great patrol, returning with reasonable prey in the harsh season. But Ibis Freckle is acting obnoxious, and her sibling has little time or patience for it. A small amount of prey is brought to camp, and now we have 191.2. I think that was a very mixed bag for us, because it started off rough with Hazel Pelt having that mangled tail, but it kind of ended on a nice note with Pine Speck and Ibis Freckle having a bit of a sibling hunt and bringing back some food for us. So okay guys, with that said and done, I'm going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.